In Your Brilliant Season opens with the kind of mystery that immediately pulls you in. A sudden laboratory explosion takes away the man Song Haran believes is her boyfriend. But the accident also leaves behind one survivor, a man carrying a secret that will change everything she thinks she knows about her first love. Years earlier, Haran travels all the way from Korea to Boston to meet her boyfriend, Kang Hyuk-chan. She is young, full of hope, and convinced she is finally going to see the person she has been loving through a screen. Then the explosion happens. Hyuk-chan dies in the accident, and Haran loses the love she believes defined her youth. From that moment on, she closes the door to her own heart. What Haran does not know is that the man who died really was Hyuk-chan, but he was not the person she had truly fallen in love with. Because Hyuk-chan often found Haran's messages annoying, he asked his roommate, Sunwoo-chan, to reply for him. Chan did it at first as a favor, but as Haran opened up about her feelings, her dreams, and her loneliness, Chan became the one who truly listened. Slowly, Chan fell for her. When Chan heard that Haran was coming to Boston, he finally gathered the courage to tell Hyuk-chan that he had fallen in love with Haran. But just as Chan reached the laboratory door, the explosion destroyed everything. The accident killed Hyuk-chan, damaged Chan's hearing, burned his body, erased pieces of his memory, and buried the love he never had a chance to confess. 7 years later, Haran has become a top fashion designer. She is talented, beautiful, and admired as the chief designer of Nana Atelier. But inside, she is still trapped in the winter of that loss. One day, she visits an art exhibition and stops in front of a painting. In the painting, a woman stands alone in the snow, her back filled with sadness. The painting is Haran's own work, and the woman in the snow is obviously herself. She is so focused on it that she does not notice the man standing beside her. That man is Sunwoo-chan. Chan has returned to Seoul for work. As he looks at the painting, he hears the memory of Haran's old confession in his mind. The woman standing beside him feels strangely familiar. When she leaves, he follows, then stops himself. Even if that really is Haran, what could he possibly do now? Then Chan sees her crossing the street. Construction scaffolding begins to collapse in front of her, and in panic, he shouts her name. Haran hears the voice and stops. The scaffolding crashes down, missing her by the smallest distance. Shaken, Haran looks around, but she cannot find the person who called out. The next day, Chan and his colleague Ben visit Kim Na-na's studio. Chan presents his character illustrations and asks the fashion designers to create costumes for them. One character catches Na-na's attention because it feels strangely familiar. When Na-na asks why he made these designs, Chan explains his passion for the project. His sincerity moves her, and she agrees to cooperate. Chan is thrilled. He hurries to his car to get a USB drive with the character stories. On the way back, a pen rolls to his feet. When he picks it up, he sees Haran's name engraved on it. It is the birthday gift he gave her 7 years ago, through Hyuk-chan. While Chan is staring at the pen, Haran appears in front of him. Chan freezes. Hearing Haran say, "Nice to meet you," fills him with complicated emotion. Only then does he learn that she is the chief designer at Nana Atelier. That means the two of them will be working together. Back in the meeting room, Nana asks about one of the female characters. The person who answers is Haran's sister, Song Ha-young. The moment Chan hears her speak, he loses control and knocks over a cup of coffee. Nana sends him to change clothes. Haran brings a set of clean clothes to the changing room and calls out twice, but Chan does not answer right away. The awkward situation only makes him more shaken. Afterward, Chan tells Ben that he wants to quit the project. Ben cannot understand why Chan would suddenly make that decision. Chan explains that he is scared. He thinks he should never have come here. Ben is disappointed, but after a long internal struggle, Chan decides to stay. He stays for the work he loves, and also because of the obsession he has carried in his heart for 7 years. The next morning, the scaffolding accident appears on the news. Ha-young sees it and worries about her sister. In the footage, the person who called Haran's name looks like Chan, but Chan and Haran supposedly never met before, so how could he have known her name? Ha-young tries to dismiss it. Maybe it was just someone wearing the same shirt. But when the staff bring in the shirt Chan changed out of the day before, a ticket from the art exhibition falls from his pocket. Ha-young sees the date and realizes it is the same day Haran visited the exhibition. Now she is certain. The person who called Haran's name was Chan. At the same time, a package arrives for Haran. Inside are photos of her, marked with red pen. Her co-workers ask if she has offended anyone, but Haran says no. Ha-young, Ha-young, acting like a detective, points out that Chan's strange behavior suddenly makes sense. Why did his character design look so much like Haran? Why did he recognize her name? Why was he near the exhibition? The seed of suspicion is planted. Poor Chan becomes a stalker in Haran's eyes. Meanwhile, Nana arranges a blind date for Haran. Haran refuses without hesitation. She lost her parents as a teenager, then lost the man she loved in her 20s. Those two separations made her afraid of love. Nana understands her granddaughter's pain, but as an elder, she wants Haran to live again. She stops forcing the issue, but asks Haran to meet the man at least once as a matter of basic courtesy. During the blind date, Haran suddenly sees Chan moving through the restaurant. She immediately follows him. In her mind, this proves that he has been stalking her. Now Chan has to decide whether he can clear up the misunderstanding and finally reveal the past. The truth is that Haran thought she had experienced a once-in-a-lifetime love, but that love was built on a lie. 7 years earlier, Haran had been in an online relationship with Kang Hyuk-chan, a student studying in Boston. At that age, she believed in love completely and gave him her whole heart. But Hyuk-chan did not care much about her. Sometimes he could not even be bothered to reply. One day, when Hyuk-chan was busy going to the lab, he asked his roommate Sunwoo-chan to respond to Haran for him. Chan did not want to disappoint her, so he answered patiently. The more they talked, the more he began to like her. On the day Haran flew to Boston, Chan decided he could no longer keep pretending. He went to the lab to tell Hyuk-chan the truth, but the explosion happened the moment he reached the door. Hyuk-chan died on the spot. Chan survived, but his left ear was damaged, his body was badly scarred, and the fire swallowed part of his memory. The only thing it did not take was his longing for Haran. When Chan woke up, he drew Haran from broken pieces of memory. He did not remember who she was, but he kept hearing her intense confession in his head. At one point, he even wondered if Haran was someone he had imagined. Years later, when he saw her on a street in Seoul, his memory finally came back. He wanted to approach her, but fireworks exploded nearby, triggering the after effects of the accident. In that moment, he understood something painful. To Haran, the person who comforted her through the screen was still Hyuk-chan. Chan may have been the one who truly talked to her, but in her heart, he was only a substitute. Seeing Haran so sad, Chan felt terrible for her, but he did not have the courage to step forward. He never imagined that when they met again 7 years later, she would mistake him for a stalker. Chan is hurt by Haran's accusation, but he still tries to explain. He tells her he is at the restaurant because he is staying at a nearby hotel, then shows her his room key. Once the misunderstanding is cleared up, Haran turns to leave. At that moment, Chan sees a shadowy figure trying to approach her. He rushes forward. Haran chases too, and Ha-young, who has been watching from the shadows, runs after the person as well. The attacker reaches a dead end and turns around. Luckily, the bottle in her hand contains only bleach, and Chan is not seriously hurt. When he grabs her, they discover she is a woman. She is a former co-worker of Haran's. She resented Haran for her success and for having Nana's powerful support behind her, so she had been following Haran and sending the marked photos. Haran does not want to pursue the woman's punishment and only hopes the police will close the case quickly. Outside the police station, Haran scolds Ha-young. Ha-young hugs her and tells her not to worry because the real stalker has been caught. Chan's name is finally cleared. Ha-young and Haran thank him together. Chan says it was nothing and starts to leave, but Haran remembers that his hand was injured and follows him, handing him a business card. She tells him she will cover the medical costs. Chan tries to refuse, but Haran says she does not like owing people. Back home, Nana criticizes Haran for staying trapped in the past. To calm their grandmother, Ha-young lies and says Haran has someone she may be interested in. Her goal is simple. If Nana believes Haran has a possible romance, she will stop arranging blind dates. When Chan comes up, Ha-young suggests sending him clothes since his outfit was ruined by bleach. Haran agrees and sends several pieces to his hotel, along with a note. Chan receives the clothes and sees rain outside. He grabs an umbrella and runs after her. Haran is still outside the hotel. Chan opens the umbrella, only to discover that it is broken. Embarrassed, he says he will get another one. Someone passes by by and greets Haran. After the greeting, Haran catches up to Chan and offers to go upstairs with him to get the umbrella. But the other umbrella in his room has been taken by Ben, so Chan has to call the front desk. The waiting is painfully awkward until Ben returns. Chan grabs the umbrella and pushes it into Haran's hands. Later, Haran visits her regular cafe and finds that the owner, Park Man-jae, is not there. His dog, Genius, is sitting alone and the place is messy. When Haran calls Man-jae, she learns he is in the hospital. She takes Genius home. Nana is secretly pleased. To her, this means Haran's frozen heart is slowly beginning to open. A week later, Nana is playing with Genius in the yard when Man-jae rings the bell to pick him up. It becomes an unexpected reunion. Nana and Man-jae are old friends who have not seen each other in years. Man-jae remembers the first time Haran came to his cafe 7 years ago. It was raining, and she sat near the entrance crying in the rain. He did not ask what happened. He simply held an umbrella over her. From then on, Haran became a regular customer. Nana tells him that Haran's boyfriend had died then, which is why she had been so devastated. That night, Haran comes to the cafe and sees Chan moving things. It turns out Chan is also a regular there. He was the first person to find Man-jae after he collapsed and took him to the hospital. After Man-jae was discharged, Chan saw that the cafe had spare rooms and asked to rent one. When Man-jae comes back, Haran greets him and scolds him for moving around when he has just recovered. In 7 years, it is the first time Man-jae has heard her say so much. When Haran learns that Man-jae and Nana are old friends, she smiles in a way no one has seen in a long time. The next day at work, Nana sees Chan's name written on a document Haran submitted and assumes he is the possible romantic interest Ha-young mentioned. That evening, she pulls Chan and Haran out to dinner, then leaves with a fake excuse to give them time alone. Haran originally wants to leave too, but when she sees Chan's injured hand, she changes her mind. During the meal, the waiter recommends grilled eggplant, and Chan almost gives away a secret. Haran then receives a message from Nana encouraging her to date Chan properly. Only then does Haran understand that her grandmother has misunderstood. Since the misunderstanding can spare her more blind dates, Haran decides not to correct it. Suddenly, a harsh noise from the restaurant speakers makes Chan's head feel like it is splitting. He drops his utensils and stumbles outside, knocking into a waiter and breaking several dishes. Haran follows him. Chan decides to tell her the truth about his hearing damage. Haran finally understands why he has sometimes acted strangely. When she notices his clothes are stained, she unties her scarf and wraps it around him to cover the mark. Being so close to her makes Chan's heart race. The next day, Haran realizes her favorite pen is missing. That pen is her emotional support. Without it, she cannot focus on anything, and she even gets criticized by Nana during a meeting. She searches everywhere but cannot find it. The restaurant says they have not seen it either. Chan tells Haran not to make herself miserable over one pen. Only he knows the bitter truth. That pen was not a special gift from Hyuk-chan. Hyuk-chan had asked Chan to pick something up for Haran, and Chan was the one who chose it. But Haran believes the pen is precious. She snaps at Chan and tells him to leave. To her surprise, Chan returns soon after. His desire to help her comes from his own past. When Chan's mother died, his father strongly opposed his dream of drawing. He even went to Chan's art studio and scolded the teacher for accepting him. Chan loved drawing too much to give it up. His disappointed father sent him overseas, where he had no family, no friends, and was bullied because of the language barrier. When his father finally visited, Chan happily brought him to the dorm, but his father found the drawings hidden under the desk, exploded in anger, tore them up, and smashed things in the room. After his father left, Chan considered ending his life. At that exact moment, Haran sent a message saying that her design had won first place in a company competition, and she had used the pen Chan gave her. Her message entered his life like light. That is why Chan wants to be good to her now. He does not dare tell her the truth yet, but he asks to use the 3 months of their project to treat her well and help bring her back into a brighter season. Haran refuses immediately. After losing loved ones twice, she does not want to get close to anyone again, not even for 3 months. Chan does not not argue. He simply places cough medicine in her hand. The next day at work, Haran feels awkward whenever she sees him. Because the office is small and they are working on the same project, avoiding him is almost impossible. She decides to go to a different cafe, since her usual cafe now means she might run into Chan. But the unfamiliar cafe is crowded and noisy, and someone even bumps her head. Then she sees Chan walking past outside with Genius. Haran gets up to leave and bumps into someone else. At the office, she asks Nana to let her withdraw from the animation collaboration so she can avoid Chan completely. Nana refuses without hesitation. Nana then begins to suspect that Haran and Ha-young lied to her. Maybe Haran and Chan are not romantically involved at all. Ha-young drags Haran out and reminds her that if the lie is exposed, Nana will arrange another blind date. With no better option, Haran goes to the restaurant, only to find Chan there too. She leaves without eating. With nowhere to go, she heads to a park, but less than 20 minutes later, she sees Chan again. This time she flees to a bus stop and stays out until evening. When she finally gets up to go home, Chan appears once more and cheerfully greets her. Haran refuses to talk and walks away so distractedly that she ignores the traffic light and hurts herself. Chan immediately stops a taxi and tries to take her to the hospital. Haran's emotions explode. She tells him not to create variables in her life. Chan finally understands that he has become a burden to her. He says he will stay quietly by her side from now on, but for the moment, she has to go to the hospital. The injury turns out to be a mild sprain. As they leave, Chan sincerely apologizes and promises not to trouble her again. He says he will move out of the cafe. Haran looks at him with complicated feelings, but says nothing before getting into a taxi. After Haran gets home, Manje calls and asks why she has not been coming to the cafe. She says she has only been busy with work. Then she hears Chan's voice in the background, asking Manje whether he took his medicine. Haran starts to wonder if she has been reacting too strongly to Chan. Chan had been planning to tell Manje he was moving out, but he swallows the words. Even after deciding not to bother Haran, another situation brings them together. Nana sends them to a palace for research. To save money on admission, Chan wears hanbok, but tourists keep asking to take photos with him. Embarrassed, he runs to a locker to change. When he returns, he sees Haran's bag, but she is gone. Chan searches the entire palace and finally finds her at a pavilion outside. Haran heard someone call her name in a voice that sounded like her mother's. She knows it could not really be her mother, but she still wanted to hear it. Chan understands. He has felt something similar. That honest conversation softens the distance between them. Haran apologizes and admits she has been too sensitive. She explains that because of her past losses, she always tries to escape early before tragedy can happen. Chan becomes nervous at her honesty. Then they remember that both of their bags are still in the palace and rush back. On the way home, Chan talks about his own past. He says that if not for the person who saved him emotionally, he might not be alive. He believes Haran can also escape her shadow and stop living in winter. Haran listens and asks whether Chan really meant what he said before. Chan is overjoyed. If she will allow it, he can finally treat her well openly, even if it only lasts 3 months. But just then, a metallic noise strikes his ears. The explosion flashes through his mind, and he seems to remember something. Chan goes to see his psychologist. The doctor believes some of his memories are still blocked. Chan insists that when he first saw Haran again at Jamsu Bridge 7 years ago, he recovered everything. The doctor suggests that his brain may have created a defense mechanism because he wanted to escape the past. Haran may be the key to the remaining memories. If Chan does not want the past to hurt him again, the doctor warns, he should not stay beside her. Instead, Chan stays. In the following days, Haran starts going to Genius Cafe again and even agrees to date him. Chan buys her a pile of pens, believing one of them must suit her. During their date, Haran becomes quiet when she hears that Jamsu Bridge is a good place to watch fireworks. That bridge carries memories she does not want to face. Chan notices and suggests barbecue instead, but his plan is actually to ride bicycles across the bridge. Haran instinctively refuses, but Chan gently insists. When they arrive, Haran realizes the place does not hurt as much as she expected. The reason is Chan. But life cannot stay peaceful for long. One day, Nana attends a women's wear lecture, but accidentally brings only menswear. She calls Haran for help. Haran rushes out with the clothes but cannot get a taxi. Chan appears in a rental car. Haran is thrilled and gives him the clothes. Chan wants to refuse because driving can be risky for him, but he does not want to disappoint her, so he forces himself to drive. When another car makes noise beside them, Chan's ears cannot handle it. The car swerves, but thankfully stops safely at the roadside. Haran takes a taxi to the lecture, but spends the whole time worrying about him. She realizes she should not have insisted on getting in the car and goes to apologize. Chan feels guilty too, because he knows Haran is terrified of accidents, and yet another accident almost happened in front of her. Haran tells him not to blame himself. She was scared, but because Chan was there, she calmed down quickly. In the past, she might have run away. That comforts Chan. He had been afraid she would retreat again. They promise to be honest with each other from now on, sharing not only happiness, but also the painful things. The story then turns to Haran's youngest sister, Song Hadam. Hadam is waiting at the door for her boyfriend, Cha Yu-gyum. The two plan to marry before graduation, and today he is coming to meet the family. He arrives late and says he stopped to help an elderly woman who seemed to have dementia and was standing in the road during a red light. When Nana opens the door, she and Yu-gyum recognize each other immediately. The world is small. They silently agree not to mention what happened on the road, but both are clearly uncomfortable. Hadam keeps calling Haran and Ha-young, hoping her sisters will come home quickly, but they do not answer. Yu-gyum gets so nervous that he says he will come again when the sisters are there, then leaves. Hadam blames Nana for being too cold, not noticing how pale her grandmother looks. Haran and Ha-young return later, and Hadam explodes at them. In the days that follow, Yu-gyum keeps making excuses to avoid Hadam. One day, she sees him at a restaurant with women and storms over, furious. Then she realizes the women are Haran and Ha-young. Her sisters came to apologize because they had been late due to work. Yu-gyum is moved by the three sisters. The day before, he had gone to see Nana and ask about her health. Nana admitted she had seen a doctor and believed she probably had dementia. Yu-gyum said the family should know, but Nana begged him to keep it secret because she did not want her granddaughters to worry. Yu-gyum does not know whether hiding it is right. Because of work, Haran and Chan are scheduled for field research on different days. But when Chan leaves, Haran suddenly shows up. She is worried about him driving and decides to go with him. Halfway there, rain begins to fall, and the windshield wipers do not work properly. They cannot easily stop on the highway. In the panic, Chan holds Haran's hand, and they manage to reach a rest stop. Chan calls for repairs but learns the car cannot be fixed until 5. Since his grandmother's house is nearby, he calls her. His grandmother arrives and brings them home, where she serves tea. Haran notices that all the ceramics are beautiful. Chan explains that his grandmother is a potter and made everything herself. While Chan takes a phone call, his grandmother tells Haran about Chan's mother. She was a painter whose biggest dream was to study abroad, but Chan's father strongly opposed it and told her to wait until the child was older. The couple fought often. Later, with encouragement from Chan's grandmother, Chan's mother went overseas, but she became ill and passed away. After that, Chan's father forbade him from drawing and sent him to America. Haran is deeply moved. Chan really has lived through a winter like hers. Chan's grandmother can already see that he likes Haran, so she quietly encourages him. Chan is embarrassed because he feels he cannot be too selfish. When the car is fixed and they prepare to leave, Haran asks why Chan once said she was someone he could not love. Chan realizes she overheard his conversation with his grandmother. He cannot answer honestly yet. Later, during another field trip, Chan almost asks the question directly, can he like Haran? The moment the words leave his mouth, they both freeze. Seeing Haran's surprised expression, Chan recovers and changes the subject. Haran believes him for now. At the research site, they find a beautiful night view. Haran relaxes and says she hates snowy days because her parents' accident happened on a snowy day. Then she asks Chan about the person he misses most. Chan cannot answer directly. He loved his mother, but the person he misses and wants to see most is the woman in front of him. The next day, Nana Atelier's team arrives and everyone begins research. Ben tells Haran that Chan joined the animation industry late. After the Boston explosion, Chan ran from the past, went to Florence, found a new goal, and eventually entered this field. At a 500-year-old tree, Haran asks Chan when he would go if he could travel through time. Chan says there is no past he wants to return to. During this period, Chan can clearly see Haran becoming happier. He tells her to keep living this way, even if he is no longer beside her. That makes Haran feel a sudden reluctance to lose him. After lunch, everyone enjoys nature. Haran looks up at the airplane cloud in the sky and opens her heart to Chan. She tells him that 7 years ago, she flew to Boston to meet her boyfriend. The moment Chan hears this, the metallic sound comes back. Pieces of memory rush into his mind, but they do not form a complete picture. Haran notices his pain and asks if he is okay. Chan pretends it is nothing, but the question stays with him. What really happened in the past, and why can he not remember it? That afternoon, heavy rain falls, and everyone runs back to the lodging. Ben notices that Haran is missing. Someone says she went back to get the scarf she left on a bench, and Chan immediately goes to find her. He is relieved when he sees she is safe. The rain is too heavy, so they take shelter in an old pavilion. Haran asks about Chan's past. He says he can talk about the present and the future, but he wants to keep the past to himself. Haran apologizes, thinking she crossed a line. She does not know that Chan is struggling with whether to confess everything. That night, everyone eats barbecue and drinks together. Seeing Haran sitting alone by the sea, Chan finally makes a decision. He takes a shell from her hand and promises that if she guesses whether the number of shells is odd or even, he will tell her everything. Haran guesses correctly. Chan believes it must be fate and prepares to tell the truth. But before he can, Haran collapses from drinking. After she is placed in a room, Chan stares at the shell and hears the metallic sound again. He follows the sound, opens a door, and another memory returns. Hyuk-chan had been dating Haran while also having a relationship with a woman named Cha Soo-jin. The metallic sound came from Soo-jin's bracelet. The memory cuts off there, and Chan collapses in pain. Maybe because Hyuk-chan was such an unfaithful man, Chan's mind refused to touch those memories. If Haran learns that she spent 7 years grieving for a man who did not truly love her, how much pain will that cause her? Chan cannot bear to imagine it. The next morning, Haran wakes up and sees Chan looking at her with pity. To help her recover from the hangover, he takes her for a walk. She remembers guessing odd or even correctly, but she no longer cares about the answer. Chan finally understands something. Sometimes not knowing is what protects her. Then he sees a rainbow cloud and pulls Haran over to look. He tells her that seeing rainbow clouds means something good will happen. The two are about to be apart for 10 days. Chan asks Haran to take one photo every day of a happy moment and send it to him. After spending time with Chan, Haran becomes brighter. She even talks to coworkers about things beyond work. One day, without the lost pen, Haran completes a design inspired by the rainbow cloud. Nana is satisfied and feels Haran can finally stand on her own. Haran sends the design to Chan, and he immediately recognizes the inspiration. Haran thanks him with a smile. Chan asks her to have dinner next Friday and warns her not to forget or be late. On Friday, Chan finishes work and prepares to drive back to Seoul. Ben tries to stop him because he is worried, but Chan cannot wait another second to see Haran. Then another accident almost happens. His phone rings and he reaches for it. Haran cannot reach him and uneasiness spreads through her. She goes to Genius Cafe and Manjae tells her that Chan has returned to America. In truth, Chan survived the near accident, but Ben called and told him to go to the airport immediately. A new person at their company had paused all projects and ordered the team back. Chan tried to call Haran, but she was in a meeting and missed it. She sends messages afterward, but they sink into silence. At the morning meeting, Haran hears there is good news from overseas and immediately stands up, thinking it must be about Chan. But the news is only that coats ordered from Paris have sold out and need to be restocked. It should be a victory, but Haran cannot feel happy. Because she misses Chan so badly, she even mistakes someone else for him at Genius Cafe. Afterward, she feels embarrassed. It is not only Haran who misses him. Manjae also feels that something is missing from his life. Then Ben emails Jeremy. Other team projects have been cancelled, and Chan's team is not in good shape either. It may mean Chan will not come back. Haran finally understands how much she cares about him. At home, already upset, she sees Ha-young leaving chip bags everywhere and complains. Ha-young does not take it seriously, and Haran explodes. The sisters end up in a ridiculous snack bag battle. After fighting with Ha-young, Haran feels a little lighter. The next day, the sisters make up and go to the river with Ha-dam. Ha-young sees through Haran's sadness even when she does not say anything. On the way home, Haran quietly changes the rainbow cloud wallpaper on her phone. At work, everyone notices Haran has become cold again. They wonder whether she is really fine or only pretending. Soon, the answer appears. Haran takes annual leave for the first time since joining the company and turns off her phone. Ha-young goes to Nana in a panic, but Nana senses that Haran is growing. On the leave form, Haran drew a little bow. It seems she is trying to say goodbye to Chan properly. That day, Haran follows the sole fun list Chan left behind. She thinks that if she completes everything on it, she can put an end to the trial period between them. But no matter what she does, she feels no joy. Everything is boring without him. That night, she tells Nana she does not want to remain trapped in winter, but she does not know how to get better. She says Chan was always going to leave anyway. He only left earlier than expected. Still, because of that strange, trial version of happiness, she found a way to escape. She is grateful to him. Then she puts everything related to Chan into a box, ties it with a beautiful knot, and treats it as a farewell. The next morning, Haran walks into work full of energy and greets everyone warmly. Her coworkers are happy to see her this way. Afterward, she visits a photo exhibition. When she leaves, her phone alarm rings. She had set a reminder for the dinner she and Chan promised to have at 7, but Chan is in America, so the dinner cannot happen. As she is lost in thought, she hears someone call her. It is Chan's voice. At first, Haran thinks she is hearing things. When he calls again, she turns around. After a stunned pause, she rushes into his arms. Chan lets her hold him, too afraid to respond. At dinner, he explains that he did send messages, but his phone was in airplane mode, so they never went through. Whatever the reason, Haran is simply happy he came back. Chan says the company issue has been resolved and the project can continue. He also calls Manje, and the old man cries with relief when he hears Chan's voice. Because Haran has not slept well for days, she falls asleep at the table. When she wakes, snow is falling outside. As they leave the restaurant, she asks where his suitcase is. Only then does Chan remember he left it at the airport. He tells her to go home and sleep, then goes to retrieve it. After he finds the suitcase, he texts her. Her call comes almost immediately. She did not go home. She came to the airport. Chan is stunned. Haran once said she hated snowy days, yet she came through the snow for him. She says she was worried he would be lonely. In that moment, Chan can no longer hold back. He hugs her tightly. It is clear now that Chan and Haran have fallen for each other. After Chan returns, his co-workers hold a welcome party for him at Genius Cafe. When Haran arrives, she sees everyone laughing and talking comfortably. That is Chan's charm. When he is present, the atmosphere becomes lighter. Manje suggests red wine to celebrate. When Chan goes to get it, he knocks a plastic container to the floor, and fragments of memory flash through his mind. A similar scene seems to have happened before. After dinner, everyone leaves. Manje also finds an excuse to go out, deliberately giving Chan and Haran time alone. While cleaning up, Chan's sleeve gets stained with soup, so he goes upstairs to change. When he takes too long, Haran goes up to check on him. The situation becomes awkward. Haran tries to leave, but Chan calls her back. As he slowly approaches, she nervously says this place might not be appropriate and closes her eyes. Only then does she realize she misunderstood him. She thought that because Chan had lived in America for a long time, he might be more forward. Seeing him laugh, she gets annoyed and says he should not tease her. Chan says he is not teasing her. He just feels like he has seen the old Haran. Haran asks what her old self was like. Chan realizes he has said too much and quickly explains that Ha-young told him Haran used to be cheerful. To avoid suspicion, he changes the subject and says all the places Haran visited without him do not count. They have to go again together. He asks her out for the next day. Haran says she cannot. She has to go somewhere far away with her family. The next day is the memorial day for Haran's parents. Nana takes the three sisters to visit their parents' graves. Nana's dementia symptoms seem to be getting worse. She does not want the girls to see her lose control, so she quietly prays that when the illness becomes severe, her daughter and son-in-law will come take her away. Back home, Haran asks Ha-young whether she told Chan about her past. Haran feels Chan sometimes acts like he knew her before. Ha-young suddenly notices that Sunwoo Chan's name sounds similar to Kang Hyuk Chan's. Could that be a coincidence? Meanwhile, Chan reviews the memories that have returned. Each time, there is a metallic sound, and the images seem connected to a woman named Cha Soo-jin. Because his memory is incomplete, he cannot understand the whole story yet. Soon, good news arrives. The collaboration is going so well that Chan's company adds more orders. Nana secretly asks Chan to dinner and keeps asking about his family situation. When she learns he will return to Los Angeles eventually, she even considers opening a branch there and sending Haran to manage it. Chan asks why Nana invited him alone. Nana finally speaks honestly. 7 years ago, after Haran's boyfriend died, Haran was surrounded by anxiety. She locked herself in the house and would not allow her family to go out because she was afraid something would happen to them. Nana knew Haran could not live that way forever. She forced her to work at the company, starting from the bottom, and little by little, Haran came back to life. But her personality changed. The once bright and passionate Haran became cold and restrained. Only after Chan appeared did Haran start smiling again. Nana thanks Chan for bringing Haran out of winter. Chan tells her that he may not be able to give her what she hopes for. After dinner with Nana, Chan takes Haran to meet someone, his grandmother, who has come to a pottery exhibition. She wanted to surprise Haran and told Chan not to say anything in advance. Haran is delighted to see her. She loves every piece at the exhibition. They plan to eat together, but Chan's grandmother already has plans. After Haran and Chan leave, Haran turns back to buy hand cream and flowers as a gift. When they return to the exhibition, they run into Chan's father, Sun Woo-seok. Chan coldly cuts him off. He has always believed his father caused both his mother's tragedy and his own pain. He does not want to see him. As Chan turns to leave, his father grabs him and asks to talk. Chan shakes him off, hitting a wooden rack. Glass pieces fall and cut Haran's face. The scene triggers another sense of familiarity. With his grandmother's help, Chan calms down. His father leaves helplessly. Chan asks his grandmother to take care of Haran, then walks outside, overwhelmed with guilt over Haran's injury. His grandmother treats Haran's wound and says she can repair broken pottery, but she has never dared touch the broken relationship between Chan and his father. After the exhibition, Haran goes to Genius Cafe, but Chan is not there. She waits outside until late. When Chan finally returns, she is worried about him. Chan loves Haran deeply, but he is afraid of becoming greedy. Eventually, Chan and Haran confess their feelings to each other. Manjae sees them holding hands and smiles with relief. After walking Haran home, Chan returns to the cafe and helps Manjae carry things. He tells Manjae, almost like a son would, that he must go to the hospital this week for a checkup. Manjae tells Chan he can share anything with him. He is willing to be Chan's tree hollow. Back in his room, Chan takes out a pen identical to the one he gave Haran 7 years ago. During his trip back to America, he found the same store and ordered another custom pen. Now he does not know whether he should give it to her or how he could explain it. A few days later, Haran meets Chan's grandmother at the cafe. A plate that belonged to Chan's mother broke, and Haran asks his grandmother to repair it. Seeing Manjae's warmth reassures the grandmother, and she tells Chan to treat him well. Before leaving, she notices a watch in Chan's room. It belongs to Chan's father. She wants to urge Chan to reconcile with him, but she says nothing. As she leaves, Chan follows her and says he will return the watch to his father. When Chan arrives in Daejeon, his father is not there. He places the watch on the desk and notices a framed picture. It is one of his mother's paintings, a painting his father supposedly threw away. Then he sees one of his own old drawings. It has clear marks where it was once torn and pasted back together. Looking at the two pictures, Chan breaks down in tears. As he is about to leave, one of his father's students stops him. From that student, Chan learns that after the explosion injured him, his father abandoned years of research and went to America. The doctors had almost given up, but his father insisted on treating him. Chan had always believed his father did not love him because he was harsh and controlling. Now he sees another side of him and feels deeply conflicted. Walking through the street in a daze, he meets Haran. He knows she found an excuse to follow because she was worried. Then he hears his father call his name. There are no affectionate words and no clear apology, but in that clumsy, awkward moment, the knot between father and son begins to loosen. At dinner, Chan gives Haran the new pen. He says he found it in his bag and thinks it got mixed in with his things. Haran says she no longer needs that pen. Chan understands her hesitation. He draws a rainbow cloud on the pen and tells her it means something good will happen every day. Then he places it in her hand. As if by fate, Haran immediately receives a call saying she has won Best Designer at a fashion award. Good things really do lift the heart. But on the day of the award ceremony, Haran runs into a name and face sealed away for 7 years. Kang Eun-chan, Hyuk-chan's sister. Eun-chan was the one who once asked Haran to celebrate her brother's birthday because she was busy with work. That was how Haran met Hyuk-chan. They barely saw each other before he left for America, promising to return during vacation. But when vacation came, he said his research schedule was too busy and his phone was broken. Looking back carefully, Haran realizes she may not have loved Hyuk-chan himself as deeply as she thought. She loved the person who chatted with her, listened to her, and cared about her. That person is now by her side. She just does not know it yet. After the ceremony, Eun-chan asks whether Haran has been well. She also mentions that Hyuk-chan injured his hand in the lab and had nerve surgery. Haran knows nothing about this and suddenly realizes how little she actually knew about him. The meeting leaves her heavy-hearted. Outside, Chan waits with flowers. Seeing her mood, he takes her to take photo booth pictures, then walks with her to Namsan to see the night view. With him beside her, Haran slowly feels better. But that night, the restaurant calls and says they found her original pen. Haran contacts Chan immediately. Now there are 2 identical pens, and Chan does not know how to explain. When she questions him, Chan admits he bought the new pen himself. Haran feels disappointed. She had believed the original pen was something Hyuk-chan specially ordered for her, but now it seems like an ordinary pen. Back home, she puts the old pen away. Some things, she decides, should end here. Chan, however, is not at ease. The more he receives through lies, the less he can receive through truth. To cover one lie, he has to create countless more. His anxiety grows heavier. One night, Chan hears the metallic sound again and becomes dizzy. The sound feels familiar, but no matter how hard he tries, he cannot remember. The next day, Haran goes to the cafe and sees Manje looking at her pen. He smiles and says Chan bought it for her when he went back to America, and the rainbow cloud was drawn by Chan himself. Chan happens to see this scene, and his anxiety grows again. That night, he suddenly suggests adding a Milky Way scene to the project. Haran worries about him driving and offers to go with him. The moonlight is beautiful, but because it is so bright, they cannot see the Milky Way. Chan becomes sad, but just as he is about to leave, the stars appear. One of them draws, and the other takes photos. After the work is finished, Haran says she will never forget this winter night or this moment. Chan hears her thanks and feels devastated. Back at the cafe, he cries in front of Manje. He wants to stay by Haran forever, but he does not know how. Chan sees his psychologist again and decides he will tell Haran everything and sincerely apologize. He no longer wants to keep lying to hide more secrets. He wants to love her as his real self. The doctor tells him that this latest hearing loss and ringing may be a physical reaction to the stress of lying. Truth and falsehood cannot exist together forever. The doctor asks what sound Chan first heard in his memory. Chan says it sounded like metal clinking. He cannot identify it, but he is afraid it points to a hidden truth. Leaving the office, Chan asks at the hospital desk whether there is another medical worker named Soo-jin besides Lee Soo-jin. This goes back to a few days earlier when Chan accompanied Man-jae for a health checkup. In the elevator, he heard the familiar sound of a bracelet from a woman in a white coat. She looked like the woman Hyuk-chan had been seeing during the Boston days. Chan only knew her name was Soo-jin, and he needed to confirm whether she was the same person. Before the nurse can answer, Chan sees Soo-jin. She sees him too. Chan walks over and asks what happened on the day of the explosion 7 years ago. He explains that because of his injury, he does not remember that day and needs her help. Soo-jin says she was not a student at that school, only a nearby medical student, and does not understand why he is asking her. Chan says that whenever broken memories appear, he hears the sound of the bracelet on her wrist, as if the sound is a signal leading to her. Soo-jin's eyes shift. She hides her left hand deep in her pocket. Chan shows her a small notebook where he has written memory clues. Soo-jin looks at it, and the past rushes back, but she tells him she knows nothing. She says Hyuk-chan is already dead and asks asks Chan to stop digging, then she runs away. Chan returns to the cafe in low spirits and finds Haran waiting for him. When they go inside, Haran accidentally sees a message from Chan's father. She decides to prepare a surprise. She asks Chan to keep the next evening free and dress nicely for dinner. Chan sees the message from his father and immediately understands what she is planning, but he pretends not to know. The next day, Haran prepares a sweater for Chan, embroidered with the name Chan. She arrives at the restaurant early and reminds the staff to put a candle on the dessert. Chan dresses up and heads there happily. On the way, he hears the metallic sound again. Turning around, he sees someone flicking a lighter. In an instant, he remembers Hyuk-chan repeatedly opening and closing a lighter in the dorm. Chan had clearly said he hated the sound, but Hyuk-chan deliberately walked closer and kept doing it. The memory cuts off. Chan becomes dizzy and blood drips from his nose. At the restaurant, Haran waits and waits. When she finally calls, someone answers and says Chan is in the hospital. She rushes there. When she hears the doctor's explanation, she cries. Only now does she learn that Chan's hearing loss came from the accident. Chan wakes and comforts her, saying he will stay by her side and wants to tell her everything, but he needs time to understand the whole story. When the nurse takes him for an examination, Haran waits in the lobby. There, she bumps into Sujin, and the items in her bag scatter across the floor. Sujin helps pick them up and sees the engraved pen. Immediately, she knows who Haran is. Then Chan walks over. The three of them stare at each other under the cold hospital lights, and the truth buried for 7 years is almost ready to surface. At first, Chan fears Sujin will say something she should not, so he tries to take Haran away. Haran, however, wants to return Sujin's bracelet bead. During the struggle, the bracelet falls and breaks. Haran apologizes sincerely, not knowing that the bracelet was a love token from her dead boyfriend to the other woman. Sujin sees how protective Chan is of Haran and understands their relationship. Her feelings are complicated, but she says nothing. Back home, Sujin tries to repair the bracelet bead by bead, only to realize one bead is missing. That makes her even lonelier. Haran and Chan grow closer. Even though they no longer have time for the planned dinner, they buy a small cake. Looking at the cake, Chan silently wishes to spend the rest of his life with Haran. That night, Haran finds the missing bead in her bag and thinks she should return it to Sujin another day. She has almost let go of her obsession with her former boyfriend, but the past returns again when she finds an old letter Hyuk-chan sent when he first went to America. After reading it, she begins to wonder whether everything could really be such a coincidence. The man she loves now is also named Chan. Chan knows this history is a hidden bomb in their relationship. During a date, he tries to confess, but fate interrupts again. While he buys popcorn before a movie, a fire breaks out in the theater. He panics, fearing Haran is in danger, and tries to go back for her. His symptoms strike again, but he forces himself to find her. The moment he sees her safe, all his fear turns into relief. But because of the incident, his confession is interrupted. Soon after, Haran learns that Nana is preparing to go to France and leave the company to her. Haran is caught off guard. Then, Ha-young accidentally knocks over Nana's paint water and discovers hidden notes everywhere, including one reminding Nana to go to a care center. Ha-young calls the number on the note and gets information from the medical staff. The news throws the three sisters into panic. Nana raised them after their parents died, and in their eyes, she has always been almost invincible. Now something serious is happening to her. Nana seems to have expected their reaction. She leaves a hidden box in her office with a letter saying she is going to France to enjoy a single woman's vacation and live for herself. She tells her granddaughters not to disturb her. Of course, the sisters do not believe it. They know she is hiding the truth to avoid worrying them, so they rush to the care center and find her there for an examination. Nana is touched and helpless when she sees them. Fortunately, the full examination brings good news. Nana was misdiagnosed with dementia. She actually has a treatable condition, normal pressure hydrocephalus, and surgery can help. Nana immediately arranges the operation and leaves the company in Haran's hands. Haran is relieved, and Chan comes to the hospital as soon as he hears the news. In his arms, Haran finally lets herself be weak. Because her ex-boyfriend's sudden death traumatized her, she has stubbornly tried to keep everyone around her unchanged and safe. Nana may have hidden her illness because she knew Haran was too tense and could not accept danger to someone close. Chan holds her and says Nana will be fine. Hearing those words, Haran finally calms down. Then she realizes she has been so busy she has not eaten. Chan offers to buy dinner and gently puts his sweater over her shoulders. Soo-jin sees all of this. Jealousy rises in her, and she approaches Haran, wanting to reveal the truth. But when she hears Nana is hospitalized, she swallows the words. Chan returns and sees them talking. His heart nearly stops until he realizes Soo-jin has not said anything. Soo-jin is not the only danger. Chan's health is also fragile. Nana, even while hospitalized, worries more about Chan's body than herself. Chan promises to take care of himself, and only then does Nana feel able to entrust her beloved granddaughter to him. As Chan leaves the hospital, he runs into Soo-jin. Soo-jin throws all her resentment over losing Hyuk-chan onto the survivor. To her, Chan is the one who should not have lived. She believes Chan stole the happiness that belonged to Haran's boyfriend. She says that if Chan tells Haran the truth about pretending to be Hyuk-chan in the messages, she will tell him what really happened that day. Her words awaken another memory. Chan remembers confessing to Hyuk-chan that he had been replying to Haran as him, but everything after that is still blank. The next day, Chan goes to the company but cannot find Haran. He hears she went to return something to someone and realizes she may be meeting Soo-jin. He rushes to the hospital, but she is not there. In reality, Haran went to return the sweater Chan lent her. In his room, she finds his diary and learns that he had been pretending to be her boyfriend during their old messages. By the time Chan returns, it is too late. Haran refuses his calls until evening. When she finally appears, her eyes are filled with disappointment. She has connected everything: Chan's strange familiarity when they first met, the pen identical to the one from 7 years ago, the Boston alumni card, the diary. Chan admits that 7 years ago, he and Hyuk-chan switched laptops, and during that time, he talked to Haran while pretending to be Hyuk-chan. The pen she loved was also from him. Haran feels like a fool. She spent 7 years mourning Hyuk-chan, only to learn that the person who cared for her was never him. Then she met Chan again and trusted him, while he kept hiding the truth. Chan says he needed time to tell her, but every explanation sounds like another excuse. Haran believes he approached her with bad intentions and played with her again. The shock reopens her old wound. Whenever she feels happiness, she loses something: her parents, her boyfriend, and now Chan. She decides she must not be someone who deserves happiness and tries to close her heart again. Chan is crushed by guilt and regret. He picks up the broken pen in the falling snow and cries. Haran is suffering too. To protect herself from the pain, she packs up everything Chan gave her and throws it away, including the pen from 7 years ago. The night leaves her with a fever, but work is still waiting. She forces herself to go out, only to find Chan waiting outside her home. She ignores him and refuses to get in his car. Chan follows her to the company, but she shuts him out again. After standing in the snow for too long, he catches a cold too. Still, the next day, he waits on her route to work with his drawing tablet, hoping she will at least look at the drawings he made for her. Haran takes the tablet but asks coldly whether looking at it can erase the lie from 7 years ago. Can it erase the fact that he kept lying during all the time they spent together? The answer is no. The past cannot be changed, and no explanation can undo what happened. For Haran, this heartbreak is not just another breakup. It destroys the meaning of the grief she carried for 7 years. Her love for Hyuk-chan now feels like a joke, and her trust in Chan feels like another trap. Chan is left standing alone. His symptoms flare, and he accidentally drops his precious tablet. A car drives over it, crushing it again, as if their relationship has been flattened beyond repair. He returns home, devastated and sick. Manjae helps him lie down. Haran is also seriously ill, but late at night, she suddenly leaves home. Her sisters cannot find her and fear she may do something dangerous, so they call Chan and ask whether he knows where she might go. Chan guesses she may be at the grassy field where they once dated and immediately drives there. On the way, another car's bright lights trigger his symptoms, and he crashes into a greenbelt. Even with his head splitting, he forces himself to keep looking for her. When Chan finally finds Haran's car at their old date spot, he cannot bring himself to go closer. Haran is crying inside the car. He fears that if he appears, he will only hurt her more. During the attack, another memory returns. He remembers that before the accident, he may have told Hyuk-chan everything and punched him. Did that punch cause the dangerous liquid to fall? Did that lead to the explosion? Terrified, Chan goes to Soo-jin again and asks what happened. Soo-jin confirms it in the cruelest way. She says Chan confronted Hyuk-chan, admitted he had been pretending to message Haran, and fought with him. She claims Hyuk-chan died because of that accident, that many people were hurt, and that Chan was the cause. Chan cannot bear the truth as she tells it. He staggers out of the hospital and disappears. When Haran hears he is missing, she says she wants nothing to do with him, but she cannot stop worrying. She goes out to look for him and finds only a note on her car. The trial period has ended. Time passes, but Haran still thinks of Chan. At the hospital, Soo-jin attends a medical meeting where a doctor presents a special case. The patient is a survivor of an explosion. Because of brain injury and remaining fragments, the patient has hallucinated sounds and distorted memories. The situation is severe, and the patient has disappeared instead of returning for follow-up. Soo-jin realizes the patient is Chan. The doctor says his condition may be dangerous. Only then does Soo-jin understand that she may have done something terrible. After Chan disappears, Haran looks for him, but even Man-jae does not know where he is. Chan took nothing with him. Only the head office receives his resignation letter. Haran is filled with regret. Sometimes people only understand how precious something is after it is truly gone. Man-jae gives Haran-chan's broken drawing tablet. He tells her that even at his worst, Chan was still thinking of her. Chan never meant to deceive or hurt her on purpose. Those words make Haran blame herself deeply. Remembering everything between them, she realizes Chan is not someone who would abandon her easily. If he left so suddenly, there must be a reason. She thinks the answer must be in what happened 7 years ago in Boston, and the only person who knows that truth is Soo-jin. Haran finds Soo-jin and asks her directly. Soo-jin is already guilty because Chan disappeared after abandoning treatment. She may be selfish, but she is not heartless enough to destroy a couple and possibly push someone to death without remorse. At last, she tells Haran the truth. 7 years ago, Soo-jin knew Hyuk-chan had a girlfriend, yet she approached him anyway. The two of them were involved and even traveled together. Haran finally learns that Hyuk-chan had already fallen for someone else. Chan was not replying to her messages because Hyuk-chan was too busy with love or research. He was doing it because Hyuk-chan no longer cared enough to answer her himself. Even Chan's disappearance was partly caused by Soo-jin's cruelty. She did not want to face her own guilt, so she pushed everything onto Chan and told him a version of events that did not match the truth. Haran cannot accept it, but she still cannot find Chan. Days pass. Then Chan's grandmother sends Haran a gift, the broken plate, repaired beautifully. If even a shattered plate can become whole again, can Haran and Chan's relationship be repaired too? The thought gives her an idea. She takes Chan's broken drawing tablet to a repair shop. After the repair, it turns on again. Inside, she finds all the drawings Chan made for her. They tell his side of the story. In the past, Chan was forced to study what his father wanted instead of what he loved. No one understood him, and he lived in deep loneliness. By accident, he replied to Haran because his roommate asked him to. It was the first time he talked so much with someone and felt comforted. He thought it would happen only once, but Hyuk-chan kept using him. Hyuk-chan even asked Chan to choose a gift for his girlfriend. Remembering that Haran had complained about being unable to draw a single sketch, Chan chose a good pen for her and had it customized. Later, Hyuk-chan took Chan's laptop by mistake while going off with Soo-jin. Chan had to use Hyuk-chan's computer and reconnected with Haran. During that time, Chan's father destroyed his drawings again, and Chan was pushed toward despair. It was Haran's message that pulled him back. Haran's words brought color into his black and white world. After the explosion, when Chan was unconscious, it was also Haran's voice that seemed to wake him. He faintly heard her saying she loved him. He felt that he had someone he loved, but his lost memory could not find her. When he later met Haran by chance, he remembered that she was not his lover. She was his roommate's girlfriend. For Haran's sake, he decided to live well. He even tattooed those words onto his body. He worked hard to keep living, and somehow fate rewarded him by bringing him back to her. After reading Chan's confession through the drawings, Haran is full of regret. Soon, she notices that an online artist signs drawings with a colorful cloud, and the cloud looks exactly like one Chan used to draw. She immediately decides to find him. Following the artist's posted images and location clues, she searches all the way to the seaside. But on the day she arrives, Chan has already left early, and they miss each other again. The next day, Chan comes to the beach to sketch. Suddenly, a pen rolls to his feet. He looks up. Haran is standing there. Their eyes turn red in the same instant, and Haran rushes forward to hug him tightly. Chan apologizes again for hiding the truth and for what he thinks he did wrong. But Haran tells him it was not his fault. The fire was not caused by Chan. Hyuk-chan spilled alcohol and kept playing with a lighter, accidentally igniting it and causing the explosion. Those words trigger Chan's memory again. His head hurts so badly that he faints. When he wakes, the real memory finally returns. He did not cause the accident. Without the weight of false guilt, Chan can finally stand in front of Haran as himself and tell her how he feels. They embrace and kiss. The lovers who were twisted apart by fate finally find their way back to each other. 1 year later, on an ordinary sunny day, Chan gets down on one knee and takes out a ring. He wants to spend spring, summer, fall, and winter with Haran, not for 1 year or 2 years, but for the rest of their lives. Haran happily puts on the ring and hugs him tightly. Life is like the seasons. If you survive the winter, the snow will eventually melt and spring will come again. True love does not always arrive on a straight road. Sometimes it circles through pain, secrets, misunderstandings, and distance. But when it is meant to return, it will meet you again at the next turn. In this story, Sunwoo Chan is like a small beam of winter sunlight. His situation is painful and his position is complicated, but he still gives everything he has for love. That's all for today's drama recap. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share. I'll see you in the next one.